White mountain ranges, clouds, the lens shrouded in mist. This is where our journey begins. In the desolate smoke-filled landscapes of a nation on the edge. The first creature we encountered tried to communicate something to us. Before the fall, before the sky caught fire. IA capital. Kuwait City, vibrant and alive, bathed in the dying light of dawn or dusk. The famous Kuwait towers stand as silent sentinels. The call to prayer echoes distantly across the water. A city teeming with life, with cars, with ships in the harbor. Something is looming over this city that will soon be laid waste by war. Now, it is still alive, biding its time. Nobody has yet begun to suspect the impending doom. Surrey, the war. It lasted only a few hours. The night vision goggles turned the world a sickly green. The sky erupted with the silent, lethal blooms of anti-aircraft fire. Afterwards, everything was different. 3. After the battle, the first signs of life were the vultures, circling high above a land that had just been violently purged. They descended upon the ground, littered with the bones of the old world. An entire spine of some creature, left to bleach in the sun. In the distance, steam or smoke rises into a pale blue sky. Then, the camera reveals the true scale of the death. Was there ever a city here? The fighting was so fierce that afterwards, not even grass would grow. We met a woman who wanted to tell us something. She had been dragged away by soldiers, along with her 2 grown sons, and had to watch her sons being tortured to death before her very eyes. It caused her to lose her speech, but she still tried to tell us what had happened. Satan's National Park. A forest. Before it was covered with oil. Everything that looks like water is in actuality oil. Ponds and lakes are spread out all over the land. The oil is treacherous because it reflects the sky. It is trying to disguise itself as water. A fallen tree. Its branches like a fossilized nervous system. A truck, abandoned at the edge of an oil lake. The land was now ruled by fire. Gas flares, burning day and night, turned the sky into a permanent twilight. And the 5th angel sounded. And I saw a star fall from heaven unto the earth. And there arose a smoke out of the pit, as the smoke of a great furnace. And the sun and the air were darkened by reason of the smoke. Childhood. A boy stands before a wall of smoke. He turns. His face bearing a sadness far beyond his years. Even the tears that fall are black. My child cries, and his tears are black. He sniffles, and his mucus is black. Even the saliva in his mouth is black. He coughs, and what comes out is black. What exactly? The soldiers came at night while the children were sleeping. They dragged this one here out of bed, and one of the soldiers trampled on the child's head with his heavy boot, and then pressed all his weight down on it. Look at this little fellow. He hasn't. It was terrible for me. Then they shot my husband. The boy used to be able to talk, but now he says nothing more. Only once he said, "Mama, I don't ever want to learn how to talk." 7. A smoke rose, like smoke from a furnace. We returned to the fires. The ground was a map of tank tracks and despair. Firefighting, vehicles looked like toys against the inferno. And in those days shall men seek death, and shall not find it, and shall desire to die, and death shall flee from them. The smoke was so thick, it became a physical presence, swirling, consuming. A living darkness. In its reflection on the oil lakes, the world burned twice. VAT, a pilgrimage. The men who walked into this hell had names. Boss, Safety Boss, Boots and Coots. They were specialists in well fires and blowouts. Their tools were water, mud and explosives. They worked in a world of screaming metal and roaring flame. Doors in action. Heavy machinery moved through the smoke like prehistoric beasts. Helicopters buzzed overhead, tiny against the scale of the disaster. It was a battle of titans. Man and machine against a primal force. A worker from Boots and Coots simply stood and watched. Protuberances. The earth itself seemed to be bleeding fire. Flames danced across pools of oil. The ground boiled and bubbled with escaping gas and heat. A landscape transformed into a vision of a planet's death throes. The drying up of the springs. The final act was not fire, but a geyser of uncontrolled oil. A well, blowing out with terrifying force, painting the sky black. This was the enemy the firefighters had to conquer. Satui, life without fire. And then, a perverse thing happened. Two figures approached a capped well. One of them carried a lit torch. What did they want? Were they going to relight the blaze? They threw the torch. Others, seized by the same madness, followed. Firefighters. Their job done. Now watch the new. Now they are satisfied. Now there is something to extinguish again. The opera swelled as the fires multiplied. A grotesque, beautiful ballet of destruction. 13. I am so weary of sighing. Lord, let evening come. As night fell, the fires became a row of hellish candles on the horizon. A man named Bobby, his face wrapped, his goggles reflecting the inferno. He stared into the flames, a final lonely sentinel. The aria reached its peak, a lament for a wounded earth, and for the men who fought upon it.